Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. Mm-hmm. 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 Let me see. So this one is here. I'm gonna give it one more shot. Mm-hmm. I'm back. I'm back, Thomas. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. It's I can't control this. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Peace to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Let's see what's going on. So, let me. Vamos, vamos, ¿verdad? Vamos ya. Let's go now. We're gonna give it a shot, right, guys? Anyway, guys, welcome back to the show, right, guys? Welcome back to the show. I'm happy to have you guys here with me. Um, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, right, guys? Don't forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I was telling you earlier, the price of gold is at $3,515 an ounce, right? It's at 35.15. It's at an all-time high. You know, for all of you that want to know, an all-time high. We had a good show yesterday, a good live stream, and it was wonderful. And today, to my surprise, we have this special price on gold, right, guys? So be awake and look around you so you can see what's happening, the way gold is behaving. If you have a gold refinery, where you live at, and you're interested about gold and you want to find out pricing and all that good stuff of purity gold, bars, 99.5 pure. You call your refinery and they'll probably be able to help you. And if you're looking to buy, they might sell you, gold, right? Um, the price of silver is at $40 and I believe 20 cents an ounce, so it's going up as well. So be on the lookout for that. I was telling you earlier too that we have an anchor, a news anchor here locally from Miami, Florida, that he was left to watch his neighbor's house, and he had the keys to his neighbor's house, and he opened up the house, and he went inside and he stole. That's what they say. Allegedly, he stole a Rolex Pepsi, watch from his neighbor, and he pawned it. And then, so to let you know how the situation is in Miami. So if you're here for the weekend on Labor Day weekend, be very careful if you're going to South Beach, Lincoln Row, Collins Avenue. Don't wear those expensive watches, because we live in a very pretending city. People pretend to have lots of money, and it's just all fantasies and dreams and wet dreams, right? So if you're here for this little weekend, be careful, right? Go to the beach, go do a little, salt water, a little sun, but always careful. Look around you, look around you everywhere, and you'll be fine. All right, guys? I'm gonna go into the watch market update. I don't want to keep on talking, so you know what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna start off, ladies and gentlemen, with a Rolex white gold sky with a leather strap. Has a black dial, 42 millimeter, And this is a watch that if you are looking into this watch, maybe, pay attention to this watch that I'm going to talk right now about. The Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller 42 millimeter with a leather strap, black dial, reference number 326139. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do yourself a favor. Don't pay for that watch, no matter what they tell you. Don't pay for that watch more than $20,500. You heard that right. A Rolex Sky Dweller white gold with a leather strap and a black dial. Don't pay more than that. If you pay more than that, you become a window lick and a lollipop sucker. And I don't want you to become that, right? That's my first watch for you guys. The Rolex White Gold Sky Dweller 42 millimeter. Leather strap, black dial, white gold. Don't pay more than what I told you. Don't pay more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille. The RM010 rose gold, black dial, black rubber. This watch at one moment was, it was to the stars. It was disgusting the price they had for that watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay. Don't pay for that Richard Mille RM010 rose gold, black dial, black rubber. Don't pay more. Don't pay more than $104,000. And it is that. Richard Mille watches are dead. Richard Mille watches are dead. Get it through your head. Richard Mille watches are dead. Be careful the way you're spending your money on Richard Mille watches. Just letting you guys know. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Titanium 41 millimeter tourbillon, reference number 26730TI. It has a sandblast blue dial. Sandblast, Sandblast blue dial. Unbelievable looking time machine. Unbelievable. Reference number 26730TI titanium tourbillon 41 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean this. Don't pay for that watch more. I mean, if I tell you how much this watch was being sold in that Corona beer era, you say, wow, man, things have really, taken a turn, really bad. I mean, this was, up in the high 300s, $400,000 watch. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $122,000. And just letting you know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be aware of what's happening out there. We spoke about gold. And I told you yesterday gold was at $3,477. Today is at $3,515. And it is at an all-time high. All-time high. So again, pay attention, look around you, see what's happening, because things are looking very, it's not, I mean, there's a gentleman here that wrote something. His name is Thomas, and he wrote something, that made a lot of sense. I forgot, what it says, what he said in the comment that he wrote, but if he puts it up there, it's unbelievable. Something that you should also have in your arsenal so you can, see what's happening. And I'm just telling you, I want to keep on talking because, I don't want to keep on talking. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex Daytona, rose gold. Rolex Daytona rose gold with a meteorite dial. Unbelievable time machine. Reference number 116506 of 40 millimeter. This watch at one moment in that Corona beer era, this watch was over, ladies and gentlemen, this is no lie. This watch was over $285,000 in the Corona beer era. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. If you are a fanatic of Rolex Daytona, meteorite dial, rose gold, listen to the price that I'm going to tell you. We're talking about a fully rose gold bracelet and casing. Beautiful watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more. You do whatever you want, and you want it with all the bells and whistles. You want it full set, the box, papers, everything, all pamphlets, booklets, whatever it is. You want it with everything. And don't pay for that watch more than $92,000. And you do whatever you want. I'm giving it to you so you know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, I don't know what's happening if tariffs, that 39% is is making the watch, market, rock like this, or it's just because the watch market is dead and people woke up. There's no more PPP loans, no more SBA loans, no more government grants, no more stimulus checks, no more unemployment checks. You know what I'm saying? No more employee protection checks of companies giving out $4 million to pay the payroll of all the people. That is over, that is over. They're coming back for their money. They want their money back. And that's how it is. I hope you understand what I'm trying to tell all of you out there. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex stainless steel Submariner. Green dial, green ceramic bezel. They call this the Hawk, the strong guy, the Hawk, whatever you call him, it's green, And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this has a 40 millimeter casing, reference number 116610LV. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for this used slider condition material watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $16,200. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give it to you the way it is. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to give you the realistic prices of what's happening out there. I'm the only one. There's nobody that's going to give you a watch market up like this one. They want me to, go cross over to the dark side. But I'm not going to cross over to the dark side. I have too much integrity. I have too much integrity. And so is, we have integrity, We know where, we know where to draw the line. And, we're not, we drink some jungle juice. I told you yesterday that I will come back and give you a watch market update, and I'm here. I'm telling you guys, if you're planning to walk around Lincoln Road, if you're looking to go to South Beach, Collins Avenue, don't go there with your heavy artillery time machines. This place over here in Miami, I live in a pretending city, South, Florida, South Miami. This is a pretending city here, These people here, they're terrible, You saw what that news anchor did. He stole the Rolex from his next door neighbor. He had the keys. He went inside, took the Rolex, and then he took it to a pawn shop. And he pawned it because he wants to go out. The nightlife here in Miami is crazy, popping bottles, with fireworks on the bottles. These people are crazy, Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Be very careful out there. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another Rolex, rose gold, date, president, 40 millimeter, white dial, reference number 228235. We're talking about a $46,000 watch, retail price, And this is a used, but this is the price I'm going to tell you to pay for this used slider condition material watch. Don't pay. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $36,500. And I don't know, this Thomas is unbelievable. He's on point. I'm telling him the prices, and he's already telling me $34,000. He knows something, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I could tell you today $34,000, but if I tell you $34,000, I'm a liar, But I am going to tell you, it's reaching the number that Thomas just put up right there, $34,000. It's reaching that number, okay? So you know what's going on already with that date, rose gold with a white dial, Roman numbers. It's unbelievable looking time machine. It's an unbelievable looking time machine. Rose gold, white dial, Roman numbers, beautiful. But it's there, Thomas is there. He is right. Don't pay. I'm telling you, don't pay more than $36,500. And believe me, the number that Thomas just put there is heading in that direction. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here a Rolex two-tone, the Bumblebee. They call it the Bumblebee, the Zombie. It's unbelievable, it's a GMT. It's stainless steel with yellow gold Jubilee bracelet, It's an unbelievable watch, But I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the reference number of this watch is the 126713 GRNR, 40 millimeter, Jubilee. Don't pay for that watch. Does anybody know what I'm going to turn up to pay for that watch? Anybody? Throw a number out there. Anybody? Somebody throw a number, quickly. I'm only joking, Thomas. You're very smart. I'm only joking. Please don't get it personal. I'm only joking. Don't pay for that Rolex GMT, two-tone stainless steel with yellow gold, Jubilee bracelet. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $18,000 and done. Who's this gentleman right here? Disco. Disco said it, ding, 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 ding. When the show is over, I'll show you the $18,000 that I wrote down, and Disco wrote $18,000. Disco wrote $18,000, exactly what I said. Don't pay more than $18,000 for that Bumblebee, whatever you call it. You know, GMT, Zombie, whatever it is, you know? Black dial, black gray ceramic bezel. It's unbelievable. Boom, you're right. Boom, you got it, Papa. You really got it. You really impressed me. Good job. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an AP Royal Oak stainless steel 15510 41 millimeter green dial. It's not a 50th anniversary. It's just a regular, you know, a 2023, 2024, you know, with the green dial. The one that's 50th anniversary on the rotor, they were asking crazy money for it, but that's dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse as well. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that AP Royal Oak stainless steel 15510 41 millimeter green dial. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $43,000 and done. There it is for you guys too. I'm just telling you what's going on. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a beautiful Patek Philippe Nautilus. The 5990 stainless steel with the gray dial. It has a gray dial. Unbelievable, this 5990. Beautiful, beautiful looking time machine. Beautiful. It's a big boss, you know. So it's a Pablo Cobal. I call it the Pablo Escobar watch, you know. Unbelievable. It's not gold, it's not yellow gold, it's not rose gold, pero coño, es un relosazo. It's a watch, it's a time machine. 5990, beautiful watch, beautiful looking watch. Unbelievable, big boss. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. I mean, you do whatever you want. You can still listen to what these people are promoting out there, you know. They're hyping watches among themselves, you know. They you know, hype back and forth, you know, until they get that number. But nobody's buying that watch. They're buying it amongst themselves to hype it artificially, you know, so they can, you know, they can catch, you know, some lambones, some palomos, you know, they can catch them, you know. But I'm here. You guys have me. You guys have me for free that I protect you guys. You know, they're asking for that watch, the 5990 Nautilus with a gray dial. You know how much they're asking for that watch? They're asking out there $110,000, $112,000. Now you're going to hear my price now. You know, pay attention. So you know what price I'm going to tell you. Here it comes. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $93,000. And done! I'm telling you, I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue being window lickers. You cannot continue being possum kickers, and you cannot continue being cow tippers. You know, you can't. We don't want no crumb bums in this channel, because we have rules in this channel. We don't want no crumb bums. We don't want no sandbags. We don't want no tomato cans. We don't want no Palmolive dish lickers in this channel, because we have rules in this channel. You understand? We have rules. Drink some jungle juice and I continue with the watch market update. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, yesterday I dropped too much knowledge. You know, when I drop knowledge, you know what happens? Because this is 100%. This is 100% organic channel. This is 100% organic watch channel. No matter what they say, no matter. I say it, I'll keep on saying it. I'll keep on saying it. This is 100% organic watch channel. Real subscribers, real views, real comments, and real likes. You do whatever you want with me, You do whatever you want with me. I only educate my subscribers. I don't want them to be lambones. No, 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 no te metas, no te metas. No importa, no te metas. No te metas en esto aquí, ¿no? Esto no es para ti. Déjamelo a mí. You know? This is what it is. I come to bring you what it is. You know? No matter what they do to me, if they do this to me, I come back again. I come back again, you know? I'll keep on coming back. Yesterday, I gave you an unbelievable, I believe in my heart that I gave you my, my knowledge, to let you know what's going on. I gave it to you, for free. And what do I get? Deep, deep, deep. But I don't care because I'm stupid like that. I don't care. I'm telling you where gold is at today. All-time high. All-time high. Remember this always. Kino is the owner of this channel. Kino is the owner of this channel. He is the brains behind this channel. And me, I'm just only the voice of this channel. But the brains behind this channel, Sweet Kid Kino. I try my best, to understand his handwriting, what he puts down here, and I give it to you people out there. I was telling you about gold yesterday, not 24 hours ago. Bam! All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. They're not like us. They're not like us because we have rules in this channel. Don't get me started. We have rules in this channel. Unbelievable, but true. I'm telling you, we have rules in this channel. This is what it is. This is what it is. Don't forget, gold is at $3,515 an ounce. I ain't never seen this in my life. I don't know what's going on. You do whatever you want. To the moon. To the moon. Kaboom. 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 To the moon. You guys might be saying to the man, that guy, that Latin guy over there, man, with Kino, he said it last night. And look, boom. Look into where your nearest, contact your nearest gold refinery, to buy bars, buy purity gold. Look into it. I'm not telling you to buy nothing. Look into it. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex Yellow Gold Oyster Flex. Sky Dweller, green dial. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a watch that was released. It was released in that, sometime in April. And people were going crazy with this yellow gold with green dial. The crayon green dial. Unbelievable looking watch. Oyster Flex. Beautiful. They were asking off the gates for that watch $66,000. And I'm taking my time with this watch because a gentleman told me, please do a watch market update on that watch. And I'm going to do it for you. I am going to do it for you. This is an unbelievable looking watch. The Rolex Yellow Gold Oyster Flex Sky Dweller with a green dial. Reference number. Wow, Thurston Howell III. Get out of here, dude. Get out of here, bro. Thurston Howell III, $48,000. I got to show a couple of watch market updates to a couple of people that set numbers on the head. One was Disco. He said $18,000, I believe, and he hit it right in the head. And now I'm going to look at now the price that Mr. Thurston Howell III said. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Wow. The Rolex Yellow Gold Oyster Flex Sky Dweller green dial. Reference number 336238. Ladies and gentlemen, this has a 42 millimeter casing. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch was over, all the way up to $65,000. And Mr. Thurston Howell III, you didn't hit it on the head. You didn't. But man, you're right there. You know what you're talking already. You know about watches. You understand what's happening. You understand the way watches are behaving, you know? Don't pay for that watch more than $50,500. And there it is. Down! Down! You know what? You know what? Down! Down! What? Suéltame, Kino. Down again. Le doy otra vez. Down again. Down again. Down again. Close enough. That's right. I'm telling you because you guys already are educated already. Not by me. You guys have gotten yourselves educated. You guys ain't no more lambones. You know, you guys ain't palomos. You guys are for real. You guys know what's happening. You understand what's happening in the economy, in the world. You know what's happening. You know where the real money is at. The real money is in gold. That's what it's at. Safe. Safe. You do whatever you want. You know, lo dijo Thurston Howell III. Dijo 48. Yo dije 50 y medio. Lo cogió. It's unbelievable, this channel of mine. Dropping. Don't blink and wait. That's right. Don't blink and wait. Don't blink and wait. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille. You know, the RM011. White gold with blue accents. You know, they say this is the Korean edition. The Korean edition. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. The Korean edition. This is the watches that gentleman over there, you know, from Dubai, you know, from Asia, you know, over there from Dubai. He's a short man. He wears a tunic. I call him the Iron Sheik tunic man, you know, with the little hat on. It's unbelievable. This, you know, where you have to give credit. You give credit where credit is due, ladies and gentlemen. And this man must have, I said $500 million, and I'm going to go closer and closer to, this guy has to have in stock close to $1 billion in watches. No lie. Every single Richard Mille watch that was released, somehow, some way, get it through your head, somehow, some way, that Iron Sheik tunic man got his hands on them. This is no lie. This Iron Sheik tunic man, some way, somehow, he will get his hands on all those watches. I don't know how he did it, but he did it, you know? And he had this watch. And ladies and gentlemen, let me keep on showing you something so you understand. Richard Mille RM011, white gold, blue accents, the best RM Korean edition. Korean, you know, Korea, Kino de la Korea. Donde está Rocket Man. Unbelievable, but this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe this when I tell you this. You ready for this? Do you know how many pieces? This is just to show you where Richard Mille watches have gone. They're dead in water. They're dead. They were flapping, you know, like a flapping fish. They're not even flapping no more. They're like this, you know? You know, like those goldfish, you know, they're just dead, completely dead. Of this watch, ladies and gentlemen, limited. You ready for this? How many pieces do you think they have of this watch? Nobody knows, and we're going to tell you then. Limited to 12 pieces. This is the watches that guy had over there, the one that has $1 billion in watches in Dubai. Small man, Iron Sheik, tunic man, you know? Ladies and gentlemen, 12 pieces of this watch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that. Don't pay for that watch. Hear me out there, you know, feet happy. Hear me out, feet happy. Don't pay for that watch more than $137,000. 137000. Done it. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You can continue, letting yourself get fooled by these people, or you can wake up. Or you can wake up your next door friend. Not like that guy, the news guy from here, that, he had the key to his neighbor's house, and he opened the door and he went inside, and he took a Rolex Pepsi, and he pounded it in a pawn shop, because he wanted to have money. You know why he did that, ladies and gentlemen? You know why he did that? You know why he did that? Because he wanted to go out this weekend, Labor Day weekend here in Miami. He wanted to go bar hopping, He wanted to go open a couple of bottles of champagne. This is a man that's a news anchor, making probably $120,000 a year. After taxes, he takes home $95,000. No. He wanted to go steal his neighbor's house, a Rolex Pepsi, and they could take it to a pawn shop. These people are crazy. You listen to me. I'm telling you, don't go to South Beach, showing your watches over there. Those people over there will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. You don't understand what's happening here. You don't. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Miami. We live pretending here. Not me and not Kino. No. We drive pickup trucks. We drive pickup trucks. I'm just trying to tell you what's going on. But these people, they don't want to get off the Range Rover. They don't want to get off the Go Fast Red car. No. They want to take it from you. So if you're out there in South Beach drinking a pina colada, be careful. Be careful. Things are not good here in Miami. That news anchor took his friend's watch while he was vacationing in Europe. And if you don't believe me about that, you Google it. Can anybody vouch for me and say that what I'm saying is true? Can anybody say that? Put it down there if it's true, what I'm saying. The guy is from the news channel. I don't know, channel 10, channel 4, I don't know. It's unbelievable. These people are crazy, mashuganas. These are mashuganas out there, ladies and gentlemen. They'll take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. That guy went inside his friend's house, and his friend told him, while I am away, please watch my house. He sure did watch his house. He put the key, he went inside, he took his watches, and he pawned it in a pawn shop. Happy pawn shop. I know what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. You're just afraid to say what I want to say, and I just say it. You really want to say this, but I say it. I don't care. Look what Mr. Thurston Howell III just put down right there. It's an unsafe place. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. I don't go to that side of town. I don't go to that side of town. I'm telling you what's going on. You do whatever you want with your health. I'm here to give you some direction. You're going to go to the beach, you go from 8 a.m. to 2 o'clock and get out of there. Unbelievable, but true. From 8 a.m., me and the wife, when we go to Miami Beach, we get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We prepare everything, my 2 chairs, my umbrella. Boom! I put it right there. If not, I rent a chair from Nikki Beach. Nikki Beach over there. You pay them, $30, whatever it is. You sit there from 8 a.m. to 2 o'clock. Get out of there. After 2 o'clock, the monsters come out. I'm telling you. You saw what that kid, that young kid did. He went into his neighbor's house and he took away his Rolex Pepsi and he pawned it. Because he wants to keep on living that lifestyle, that pretending lifestyle. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Chrono, reference number 26240. OR, 41 millimeter, blue dial. Unbelievable. No, this is not non-converted. This is the real thing. It's not converted. This is the real thing. It was born, rose gold with the casing, the bracelet, the blue dial. Everything was born that way, You know, it wasn't converted. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that 41 millimeter blue dial chrono 26240. Don't pay for that watch more than $94,000. And that, let me tell you something. That is a beautiful watch. That's, you know, you put that watch on. You look at that. Look what Mr. Donner put down. These are people, they know, Kino, el que sabe, Kino, Mr. Donner puso $92,000, yo le dije 94. I said 94, Mr. Donner said 92. You people know what's going on. It's gonna get to that number. It's gonna get to that number. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be honest. You go to Houston, Houston, that restaurant, I think it's called Houston, whatever it is, and you have that watch on. With all due respect, I'm saying this. And a mommy goes by and you say hello to her, her panties drop to the floor. Oh boy! This is an unbelievable looking time machine. There you go, Houston, there it is. You go there, in Coral Way, Miracle Mile, Miami, right there, right in the corner, Ponce de Leon, right there. You go there and you have that watch on, the panties drop to the floor. You do whatever you want. Don't pay what I told you for that watch. You do whatever you want. Which one again, Thurston? Okay. It's the Royal Oak Rose Gold Chrono, reference number 26240OR. Fully factory. Rose gold the bracelet, rose gold the casing, blue dial. Beautiful watch. You say hello to a young lady, panties to the floor. That's it. No questions asked. You have the thing in your hand. You have $100,000 watch in your hand. But I'm telling you what to pay. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $94,000. Mr. Donut said 92, and it's not far from there. It's not far from there. It's already there, just to let you know what's going on, right? Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Patek Philippe Complications Annual Calendar Chrono, 59 exact ankles for earrings. Unbelievable. When I finish this and I go see my wife, she's going to tell me, what were you talking about panties dropping to the floor? She's going to ask me that question. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is the Patek Philippe Complications Annual Calendar Stainless Steel Chrono, 5960, white dial, a 40.5 millimeter casing, fully stainless steel, fully. Ladies and gentlemen, does anybody know what I'm going to say not to pay for that watch? I'll just say this. It's under retail already. Under retail. And these watches were being sold at one moment, $90,000 all day long. $90,000. But the watch market is dead. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. Exactly. Start spreading the news. Don't pay for that watch, whatever you want. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. These people don't even have no more content. They can't even make fake content, on making sales on watches. They don't have that no more. They can't. They don't even have the energy to fake it. These Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers don't even have it. They can't even do the fake no more. Not even fake. They went from doing content, regular content of 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, to making reels, a minute reels, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, and they can't even do that because they don't have it no more. Don't pay for that Patek 5960 stainless steel white dial. Don't pay more than $41,000. Doubt me again, Joliot. Doubt me again. I know what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm telling you. I told you I was going to make this watch market update today because I was tired yesterday. I blew too much. You know those people that they go under the cars, to steal the rhodium, the caterpillar, converter. How do you call that? I was like that. I was missing that part. Unbelievable, but true, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch. That's the catalytic converter. Yesterday, Mr. Donor, I dropped so much information. At least I thought I was dropping information. Maybe I wasn't to none of you guys, but I thought I was. That I had my catalytic, converter, was missing already, and I couldn't continue doing the watch market update show yesterday. I was dead, Yeah, it was too much. It was too much for me. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donor. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille RM 11, 10th anniversary. Listen to this. I'm giving you big watches here. Big watches so you know where they're at. How many Richard Milles have I given you today? 4? It's unbelievable. 4 Richard Milles. 10th anniversary. With that special material, the STD, NTPT, blue accents. It's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable, this watch, ladies and gentlemen. And this is limited to 100 pieces. Limited to 100 pieces, Papi. This is crazy. The RM11 FM. Felipe Massa, 10th anniversary. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm going to just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because you need to know the truth. You need to know what's happening out there. Listen, exactly. He's losing it. Listen to what Mr. Donor just put down right now. The Iron Sheik Tunic Man must have in stock. Listen, you should feel happy that I'm saying this, Mr. Iron Sheik Tunic Man. I'm saying that you must have. There's nobody in the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market that has more watches than this man. This man has to have $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 billion in watches. And he must have every single Richard Mille that came out of that factory. He was the first one to have it. This is no lie. We're talking about names like, those movie stars, those rappers, those, race car drivers, tennis players. This guy had them all, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I said it wrong. This guy has them all. This guy has them all. And this watch that I'm talking about, this is a 10th anniversary, limited to, oh my God, this is crazy, to 100 pieces around the world. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Don't pay for that Richard Mille. Does anybody know what I'm going to say? Did anybody would like to put a number up there? Bobby, we're talking about, this is heavy numbers. And when you hear the numbers, I'm going to tell you, wow. Don't pay for that watch, Thurston Howell III. Don't pay more. Don't pay more than $213,000. And down, Kino, hold me back. Púame, jálame. No te están viendo, Kino, they don't see you. Down. Kino, suéltame. Down. Una vez más. Down. Richard Mille watches it dead. Down. Dead. You do whatever you want. Richard Mille watches it dead. Richard Mille watches is a sucker's bet. It's a Las Vegas sucker's bet. I know what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm telling you. I'm going to give you another Richard Mille. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my last watch market update of the day. I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen, that I started this show much earlier, but we had like a thunder lightning that hit the channel. My channel hit the thunder lightning. Maybe my subscribers could help you out, explain to you what I'm trying to say. I started like an hour ago. I'm going 2 hours with this one. 2 hours, because I'm like that. I'm stupid. Because I'm a man of honor. I'm a man of principle. I'm a man of ethics. You understand? I'm that man. So I started 2 hours ago, and it got interrupted by a thunder lightning. It hit the antenna of my channel, and it went haywire. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe this. I was already into the show, into the first one today. I would say a good 40 minutes. Nah, a good 30 minutes. A good 30 minutes. You know, I had to close the shop, close everything, and start the show all over again. You don't believe me? Gentlemen, if you were here, please let them know what I did today, what I'm doing today. I'm going on 2 hours. I'm tired. My body aches. But I'm here. If anybody wants to vouch for me, they'll tell you. Anybody can tell you I did the show today 2 times. And I deleted the whole show. I deleted everything. Gone. Start all over again. You know, production. I had all my cameraman, everybody in the studio, in the set, do it all over again. Unbelievable but true. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And listen to me. I wasn't saying that so you guys can send me a thank you chat or a super chat. You know, thank you very much, Thurston Howell III, for that super chat. I'm just telling you what I did. Thunder lightning hit the tower, Thurston Howell III, Mr. Donor, Mr. Blair, you know, wherever you are, all of you, my friends out there. And I started the show from scratch. From scratch, just to let you know. Thank you very much again, Thurston Howell III, for that super chat. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our last watch market update of the evening. You know, I'm going on 2 hours on this. Richard Mille, again. Richard Mille, ladies and gentlemen. This Richard Mille watch right here is a Bubba Watson. 30 pieces around the world. Mr. Blair, thank you very much for that super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you guys thank you so much. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. But I did the show 2 times. A thunder lightning hit the tower, you know. I think one of my workers got injured, you know. Oh God. So this is the Richard Mille, Bubba Watson. 30 pieces around the world. 30 pieces around the world. They call this, ladies and gentlemen, the America's Edition. You know, the America's Edition. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable, this watch. We're talking about 30 pieces around the world. And that guy again, that gentleman, the Iron Sheik Tunic Man, you know, that has to have a billion. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I have looked when he shows his watches. I have looked, man. I'm telling you, just in Richard Mille, you know, with STD materials, you know, STD, NTPT, TPT, all that stuff. Man, he must have in Richard Mille. I don't know, man. He must, just on Richard Mille, he must have, I don't know, $300 million, $200 million, something crazy. And this watch, he had it too. And all these watches that I'm talking about, they were safe queens. You know what a safe queen is? They were put away, safe queens, because these are the watches that they were going to go all the way up to 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, all the way up, 30 pieces. Bubba Watson, the Americas Edition. This watch was being sold in the Corona era, the white one, you know, please listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, $700,000, $600,000. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Blair. The Iron Sheik Tunic Man. I'm telling you what he has. There's nobody. You know what credit is due? I give credit. And I'm going to tell you right now. If you ask me, well, one, which are the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers that you believe have the best inventory? I'm going to tell you 2. One from Asia, one from Asia, which that is the Iron Sheik. Write it down So you say, I heard it from this person, and if he says it, it's like it is. One is the Iron Sheik tunic man out of Asia, Dubai. He must have $1 billion in watches. And I'm going to give you one now from the United States of America. Okay? Write it down. These people, they don't have $1 billion. They don't even have, not even $500 million. Not even $300 million. But the one that comes second to have one of the best inventory watches, and you have to give credit, is no other than Feet Happy out of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hillbillies. The Beverly Hillbillies. Those people were there, the two brothers. One is smart, one is dumb, one is tall, one is short, one is talks a lot, one is introverted. I mean that in a sweet way. I don't mean in a bad way. I'm not bullying anybody. But ladies and gentlemen, they have the Roxbury brothers. Thank you very much. Okay, look at that. Somebody saying the 16, 19, they're up there too. But to me, out of watch, companies, the one from over there from Dubai, Tunic Man, and Feet Happy. That's it to me personally. The rest, they have something, but an example, if you're thinking about Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, he ain't there. He ain't there. I mean, he ain't there. He ain't no top 10. He ain't no top 20. How's that? You know what he is? Top 20 in camera. That's it. Boxing Black Eyes. That's it. You know what I'm trying to say? With the guy with the... Okay, I don't want to talk no more. But ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The Richard Mille Bubba Watson 30 pieces. The America's edition. Limited, bro. Limited edition. He's in the minor league. Exactly. The only thing he has going for him is the show, the TV. And it makes it look big, All those people on 47th Street in New York, don't get me started. Esos son unos muertos todo. If you want to talk about big guns, the Iron Sheik and Feet Happy. No questions asked. Mr. Thomas, which I have a lot of respect for, Mr. Thomas just finished telling me, and probably, this is what he says. I'm not taking responsibility on that. The 1619. But I say two people. One over there, Tunic Man, and one over there in the West Coast, over there in Beverly Hillbillies. Feet Happy. Papi, what they have in stock is brutal. They have time machines there that, not even boutiques have. I'm talking about Feet Happy. So if you're hearing me, Roxbury Brothers, I'm giving you a shout out. And if you're hearing me too, Iron Sheik Tunic Man, I'm giving you a shout out too. And my friend Thomas is giving you a shout out too, 1619, that you guys are two rank. The rest are double A, single A, clubs. They're not triple A, none of that good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Richard Mille Bubba Watson RM55 America's edition. The West Virginia one, I with it. I'm trying to say, okay, $300,000, okay. Don't pay. Oh, guys, thank you so much for making me laugh, for real, man. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do the second show, to be honest. I'm not going to do it. But I said, I have to do it. But I'm telling you, the thunder lightning hit the tower. We have a tower. The tower of the antenna. And one of my workers from production, don't pay. We're going to make a joke now about this show that we had to do it twice. And you guys are still here with me. Don't pay for that America's edition. 30 pieces around the world. I can't believe we're laughing at this, man. Oh boy. Don't pay for that American. Don't pay for that America's edition. Ready, guys? Papi, the watch market is dead. The watch market is like crickets. You know, crickets. They're dead. You know, even that guy that I told you from the West Coast, Feet Happy, that he's trying his heart out. And let me tell you, he must have, he must have, I gotta tell you this. He must have, in salespeople, I'm telling you, he must have 20 salespeople, 20 salespeople. He has every single salesperson you can think of. He has every single salesperson that has had a watch channel on the internet. This is no lie. This for real. He must have every person that had a channel. There was a name in, in the internet. I'm talking. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying, and I'm not BSing because I don't practice BSing. It's like having me as a salesperson over there. I'm a public figure. You know what I'm saying? Or having Kino. These people have every single salesperson because they're rotating salespeople like club gyms, car dealerships. You know what I'm saying? Insurance agencies, health insurance, life insurance. They revolve, they revolve. They sell to their uncle, their grandmother, their cousin, their brother, their sister-in-law, their friend, their best friend. And then when they run out of more friends and family members, they let them go because they're getting a draw against commission. Do you guys know what a draw against commission is? Do you guys know what a draw against commission is? Just say yes or no. If you say yes, I'll keep on going. If you say no, I'll give you an explanation. Anyway, a draw against commission is they give you, let's say, $500 a week. You get $2,000 a month. If you sell $5,000, they discount the $2,000 they gave you. They loan you $2,000 and they give you the rest. That's what it is, okay? You got that? All right, perfect. So these people have every single salesperson in that place. And it's unbelievable. They're trying their best. And I give credit, where credit is due. I really do because, even if you let yourself get flim-flam by these people, that's your problem. You let that happen to you, that's up to you, But they're trying their best. And what's credit is credit. Exactly. So going back to them, they must have, man, I'm talking about 20 salespeople. They must have a watch, movement section. They must have a jewelry section. They really did. Their father, if you ever watched the movie The Roxbury, A Night at the Roxbury, remember the father and he had a flower shop. He had real flowers and fake flowers, and he had the two sons, in Beverly Hills. Baby, you want me, you know what I'm talking about? Well, those two kids, basically the father got the blueprints. I said it wrong. The movie, The Night at the Bloxbury, got the blueprints from those two young men from the Feet Happy watch store. That's how they were taught. All right, and I give them respect and credit for that. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Blair? You know what I'm saying. Baby, don't hurt me no more. Right? Down, down, down. Same thing. Guys, here goes. The 30 pieces America's edition Bubba Watson RM55. Don't pay for that watch. And Mr. Donut said $300,000. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $242,000. And down! Down! Baby, don't hurt me no more. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with me in this fabulous Watch Market Update show. Thank you so much for always helping me and giving me more, more power to continue on, bringing you some good, some good content live, which is not easy. What I did it today for 2 hours, for 2 hours. So, thank you so much for supporting the channel. All of you that supported the channel. I mean, all of you supporting the channel. Just by being here, you're supporting the channel. So thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And like me and Sweet Kid Kino would always say, always take care and brush your hair. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. See you later. Be safe. Don't be dodo birds. Gold is going all the way up, all the way up.